Okay, let's talk about phones that fold. There's something genuinely captivating about a device that just doesn't look like a normal phone, right?
Absolutely. It kind of feels like, science fiction made real.
Exactly, like you're holding a piece of the future.
Yeah, it totally changes how you might use your phone day to day. That form factor just opens up possibilities.
Which is why, when you shared this source with us, this really detailed Amazon product page for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 AI cell phone, we thought, okay, this is perfect for a deep dive.
Right. And our goal here isn't just to review the phone in general. It's really about unpacking this specific listing. We're going to dig into what this page says about the features, the performance,
Okay.
what the customer reviews on that page are saying, the good and the bad.
Right, the real world stuff.
Exactly. And also, what options the listing gives you to protect the phone. Because it's not cheap. It's all coming straight from that source you sent.
Gotcha. So let's get into it. What does this specific Amazon listing tell us about the 2024 Galaxy Z Fold 6? What's the main idea they're selling?
Well, the listing really focuses on flexibility and size. It describes it first and foremost as an unlocked Android smartphone.
Okay.
Built around giving you a really large screen experience, but, in something you can still carry around.
And that big screen is the star of the show. Yeah, it's that dual setup.
Totally. You've got the main 7.6-inch display when you open it up.
Wow, it's big for a phone.
Yeah. And the listing, it actually calls this a productivity dream. Like they're painting this picture of serious multitasking, comfy reading, watching videos. And then you've got the 6.3-inch screen on the outside for, quick stuff when it's closed.
And I think I saw in the source some reviews mention improvements there.
Yes, exactly. Looking at what customers were saying on the page, people mentioned the outer screen has a better aspect ratio now.
Yeah.
Makes it more usable, maybe.
Yeah, less awkward.
Yeah. And also that the crease on the inside screen is less noticeable than maybe older models. So like design tweaks.
Okay, but a big screen needs power, right? How does it actually run everything? What does the listing say about the guts?
It gets specific there. It says it's powered by a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 for Galaxy processor.
Ah, the top tier stuff.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's the latest high-end chip, supposedly tuned for Samsung, running at 3.4 gigahertz. And it's paired with 12 gigs of RAM, which is a lot.
Right. And the listing connects that directly to performance, doesn't it? Saying it makes multitasking seamless, smooth.
Yeah, they really push that.
Yeah.
Smooth operation, even talking about incredibly realistic graphics for gaming on that big screen. That's the power foundation they want you to see.
Okay. Now, a huge part of the branding, even in the title on Amazon, is AI. It's the Galaxy Z Fold 6 AI cell phone.
Yep, that's front and center. They list out several AI features.
Like what?
There's circle to search with Google. You circle something on screen, it searches. Pretty neat. Then there's the Handsfree Live Interpreter. It translates conversations in real time, supposedly up to 16 languages.
Wow.
And it even uses a split screen when the phone's half folded, like in FlexMode. So you can see both sides of the translation face to face.
Okay, that sounds useful.
And also AI photo edits, like Generative Edit, where you can move stuff around in pictures or remove things with AI.
Right, like magic eraser type stuff. But wasn't there a catch mentioned in the source? Something about the AI?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
This is where reading the details on the listing really matters. While they hype up these Samsung Galaxy AI features, the listing also says, kind of buried in the description, that these features are only provided for free until the end of 2025 on supported devices.
Oh, okay, wait. So after 2025, you might have to pay for them.
The listing implies that, it's a really important detail. Definitely changes the long-term value picture.
For sure. Okay, so beyond the AI push, what other key features does the listing highlight?
It talks about S Pen support on that main screen.
Yeah.
Good for productivity, notes, drawing. Right.
But the listing also notes the S Pen is sold separately. You don't get it in the box.
Oh, okay. Typical.
And they highlight the multi-active window feature. Lets you run 3 apps side by side on the main screen.
So you could have email, a browser, and maybe a notes app all open at once.
Exactly. The listing says it's built to handle doing more.
Makes sense.
Connectivity-wise, it's got 5G, of course, and the usual stuff. Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, USB, NFC, all standard there.
What about the cameras? Folding phones sometimes make compromises there. What does the listing say?
It details a pretty comprehensive setup, actually. There's a 50-megapixel main camera,
Piece of resolution.
a 1-megapixel ultra-wide, and a 10-megapixel telephoto with 3x optical zoom. And it mentions 30x space zoom, which is, mostly digital zoom.
Right. And for selfies.
You get two options: a 10 megapixel camera on the cover screen, the outer one, and then a 4 megapixel camera under the main display.
Under the display. Huh. Interesting. Battery life, always a big question with these big screens. The listing states 4,400 millicapacity, and it supports super fast charging.
Okay. And size, weight.
Dimensions listed are 6.04 by 2.68 by 0.48 inches when it's folded, and it weighs 15.5 ounces. So it's substantial, not super light.
Yeah, definitely chunkier than a regular phone. Did the listing mention anything else notable, like sustainability?
It did, yeah. Mentioned it's Ecologo certified, which means it meets certain environmental standards for like energy efficiency and how it's made.
Good to know. Okay, before we get to what people think of it, what actually comes in the box, according to this Amazon page?
You get the phone itself, obviously. A USB-C cable, a quick start guide, and one of those little SIM tray ejector tools.
But no power brick, right? No headphones?
Nope, none of that included. Pretty standard these days, but yeah, worth noting. Got to supply your own charger.
And the price. What was the price shown on this specific listing when the source was captured?
It was listed at $4,419.99 for the 512 GB model.
Oh.
And they presented that as a big discount, showing a list price of $2,019.99. So quite a bit lower on the listing itself.
Right. So that's the official story from the product listing. Specs, features, price. But man, with a device like this that's so different and frankly expensive, what actual customers are saying feels super important.
Oh, absolutely. And the review section on this listing gives us that perspective. It shows an overall rating of 4.3 out of 5 stars.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, from 402 ratings at the time the source was captured. So decent sample size.
Okay, so digging into those reviews, maybe starting with the positives. What are the main things people seem to really like?
A lot of praise goes to the build quality and the hardware itself. You see phrases like phenomenal hardware, remarkable engineering, even true engineering marvel.
Wow, high praise.
Yeah, people mentioning premium materials. The overall feel of the phone seems to impress many, often described as stunning.
Okay. What about the cameras? We listed the specs. How do people feel about them?
Generally positive. People call them great. Though, interestingly, a few reviews specifically compared them to iPhones and said they weren't quite as good in that comparison. But overall, positive mentions. And people also liked the general ease of use, saying it runs smoothly.
And that productivity dream thing, the listing push, does that land with actual users?
It seems to. Yeah. Many reviewers echoed that, calling it a productivity dream.
Yeah.
They like being able to run multiple apps. And some mentioned specific things like drag and drop between windows feeling intuitive. And for some, finding it at that $1,400 price point on Amazon made them feel like it was a great deal.
Any other standout positives from the reviews?
Yeah, good sound quality got mentioned. And the usefulness of having dual SIM support came up too.
Okay, seems like a lot to like. But 4.3 stars isn't perfect. What were the downsides? What criticisms or concerns kept popping up in those reviews?
Well, screen size was actually kind of divisive.
Oh, how so?
While lots of people loved the huge inner screen, some reviewers found the outer cover screen still a bit too narrow.
Ah, right. Harder to type on, maybe.
Yeah, maybe needing some adjustment to use comfortably. So, mixed feelings there.
And you mentioned that under display camera earlier.
Yes, that 4MP camera under the main screen got some specific negative feedback. One reviewer flat out called it terrible.
Ouch.
It's likely because, shooting through the screen pixels themselves often makes the image kind of soft or less clear than a normal front camera.
Gotcha. Anything else on the screen front?
Some reports mention the screen brightness wasn't quite enough for really bright outdoor sunlight. Could be hard to see sometimes.
Okay. And battery life. Always a big one.
Yeah.
What did the reviews say there?
Definitely inconsistent feedback on that. Some users said the battery life was good, no problems. But others found it just. Oh, okay. Middling was a word used. Like it would only last a full day if you weren't using it super heavily. Although interestingly, some reviewers who seem to have owned older Fold models called the battery life a major upgrade compared to those.
Ah, so better than before, maybe, but still not amazing.
Yeah, that seems to be the vibe. Even those calling it an upgrade still said it wasn't like an all-weekend battery. Suggests improvement, but maybe still a weak spot compared to some slab phones.
Okay. Now, analyzing these reviews on the listing, there seemed to be a more concerning theme that emerged, didn't there? Especially for a folding phone.
Yeah, you're talking about the screen durability concerns. This came up quite a bit across different reviews on the listing.
What kind of issues were people reporting?
We saw reports of the main inner screen scratching really easily, like badly, even when people said they were being careful.
That's not good.
There were mentions of a crackly speaker developing over time, and critically, people reporting cracks actually forming along the fold line itself.
Yikes.
And in some pretty worrying cases, the whole screen just failing, going black or malfunctioning.
Wow. And did the reviews mention warranty experiences with that?
Some did, disturbingly. A few reviews mentioned that when their screens failed, their warranty claims were apparently denied by Samsung.
Oh, man. That really clashes with the whole remarkable engineering praise, doesn't it?
It really does. It points to this potential tension between, the cool, ambitious design and maybe the real world reliability or consistency of the parts, particularly that folding screen.
Yeah. Any other common frustrations mentioned in the reviews?
A couple other things came up. Some apps apparently don't play nice with the different screen sizes or aspect ratios. They don't adapt well.
Oh, okay. Software compatibility issues.
Yeah. And also the usual complaints about pre-installed apps. You can't remove bloatware, basically. Things like AR camera apps or Bixby.
Right. The Samsung extras.
Exactly.
Okay. So just looking at this, Amazon listing the product info and the reviews, it paints a picture of a phone that's definitely powerful, definitely innovative with that folding screen. And people praise the idea of it, the design, the multitasking, but it's tempered by these user reports. Inconsistent battery life, maybe a mediocre under-display camera, app issues.
And crucially, those potential problems with the physical screen lasting. The durability question mark.
Yeah, that seems like the biggest one, which kind of leads us directly to the next section of the listing, right? The protection plans.
Exactly. Given the high price tag, and especially those durability concerns popping up in the reviews on the same page, looking at the protection options feels particularly relevant here.
So what options does Amazon actually present on this listing?
There were a few different choices shown. First, there's a 2-year protection plan from a company called Asurion.
Okay, a third-party plan.
Right. And this one covers accidental damage, drops, spills, cracked screens right from day one. Plus, it covers malfunctions after the standard manufacturer warranty runs out.
How much does that cost?
The cost shown on the listing was $239.99, paid up front. But there are also service fees if you make a claim like $49 for a repair or $129 for a full replacement. And you have to buy it either with the phone or within 30 days.
Okay, so one big payment up front plus potential deductibles later. What else was offered?
Amazon also listed Samsung Care plus device protection monthly. This is Samsung's own plan.
Ah, the official one.
Yeah. It covers unlimited repairs, including battery issues, and specifically mentions same-day cracked screen or back glass repairs for a $29 service fee at authorized spots.
Lower fee for screen repairs. Interesting.
Yeah. It also mentions next business day replacements if needed and says they use genuine Samsung parts. This one's a monthly cost, listed at $12.99 per month.
So an ongoing cost, but maybe cheaper per incident, especially for screen damage.
Seems like it. And there's one more broader option listed, also from Asurion, calls Complete Protect.
Okay, what's that?
This is also monthly, $16.99 a month. But it's different because it's designed to cover all your eligible portable gadgets you buy from Amazon.
Oh, not just the phone.
Right. It covers stuff you bought in the last year, plus future purchases, up to a $5,000 claim limit per year. It covers malfunctions, failures, drops, spills for portable things.
So kind of like an umbrella tech insurance plan from Amazon?
Pretty much. The listing mentioned a quick claims process and no hidden fees for that one.
Okay, so you've got these distinct choices right there on the product page. A 2-year plan just for the fold, a monthly plan just for the fold, or a monthly plan covering lots of Amazon tech purchases.
Yeah, and the fact that these options are so prominently displayed, it really feels like an acknowledgement of the potential risks, especially with a foldable screen.
It definitely seems positioned to ease buyer anxiety about, dropping this expensive folding thing or the screen giving out, especially after reading those reviews.
Absolutely. It highlights that owning this kind of cutting-edge tech involves thinking about more than just the specs. Longevity and protection become big factors.
Okay, let's try and wrap this up then. Pulling together everything we've analyzed from just the single Amazon listing, what's the overall picture?
Well, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6, as presented here for the 2024 model, is clearly positioned as a premium high-performance device. It's all about the unique folding screen, enabling serious multitasking and media consumption backed by powerful specs.
Right. And the customer reviews on this listing confirm that people are impressed by the concept, the engineering design, and how useful that big screen can be for productivity.
But analyzing that same review section reveals those recurring worries. Mixed results on battery life. That under display camera isn't great, but the big one is definitely the reports about screen durability. Scratches, cracks, even failures. That really stands out against the praise for the hardware design itself.
Right.
It underlines the real world challenges still facing this kind of tech.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the listing itself offers these multiple protection plans covering accidents and malfunctions, almost like anticipating those potential issues raised by users.
Exactly. The availability of those plans feels quite significant, directly addressing the potential vulnerabilities highlighted in the customer feedback right there on the same page. Okay. It's like the listing implicitly says, this is amazing, but maybe get insurance.
It really shows that buying something on the bleeding edge, like a foldable phone, comes with this unique set of considerations, doesn't it? It's not just about the cool factor.
For sure. It's specs versus real world use versus potential risks and costs down the line.
So, okay, here's a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on after this deep dive into just this one Amazon source. You see this device, the Z Fold 6, presented with all its futuristic promise, the big screen, the power, the AI. But right alongside that, you see user reports raising flags about physical fragility, about screen issues, plus that little detail about the main AI features potentially costing money later on. So considering only the snapshot from this listing, what does it suggest to you about the state of foldable phones right now? How does that cutting edge ambition stack up against the practical concerns of everyday use, durability, and long-term value, even with those protection plans available?